Congratulations, Father Pietramale. You're one of the best.
And I am pleased to have this opportunity to offer a little tribute to Father John Pietramale as we honor him this year at this Christ Child Soiree.
I would say very busy, and everywhere is John Pietramale.
I'm going to have to say dynamo. He never stops. He is always going 150 miles per hour, and it's hard to catch up and hard to keep up. So definitely dynamo.
To describe him in one word, I would say perceptive. He thinks about things that always surprises me. Sometimes I feel like he can read my mind, and it makes him extremely easy to work with because he can tell what people are worried about or maybe what they're afraid to say, and that makes him a wonderful partner in getting things accomplished.
Describe Father Pietramale in one word. Loved. I would say that I respect most the fact that he gave his life to serve Christ. And I also think he gives priests a good name.
What do you respect most about Father John? His passion. He is very passionate about Christ Child. He is passionate about our Catholic schools. He is passionate about his parish. And that shows in his constant desire to want what's best.
And when my uncle passed away, I came down to Pius to get you to see if you would help me find an Italian saying, and you did. And it was so much fun in such a critical time. And the last thing that I really appreciate was when Morris and I were out for dinner and you were there and gave us an after-dinner drink.
Father Pietramale has always been church-centered, but also very, very school-centered. I think his favorite part of the year is the first day of school when all the kids are coming back. I remember one year at Christ the King when Father Pietramale had a very zealous new priest working with him as an associate. This new priest, fresh off the boat from Rome, wanted to really get out the incense and really smoke up the church to impress these children of all the traditions that are so rich in our Catholic faith. Father Pietramale, being perceptive, turns to the young priest and says, "Brian, vomit. These kids are going to vomit. They haven't had breakfast, they're all nervous as cats, and if you smoke up this church, there's going to be vomit everywhere."
What you respect most about Father John is that he is very dedicated to his priesthood.
Do you think Father John should upgrade his flip phone for his 60th birthday? You know, he could upgrade it, but it's worthless because he would never know how to use it.
I think smartphones probably increase the ADHD of society, so it might not be a good idea.
I think he should absolutely get the latest iPhone and join the 21st century. How serious is Father John's ADD problem? I think he needs medication, and he needs it now.
Have you ever had a complete conversation with Father Pietramale? And I'd have to say, complete is not the right word. I've had several conversations with Father Pietramale, all at the same time, interspersed with the words comical and I'm sorry. But to say I've ever had a complete conversation with Father Pietramale would not be accurate.
Do 4 partial conversations add up to 1 full conversation? If so, then yes.
I enjoy it. When he calls me, the first comment is always, "What are you doing?" And when I call him, his first comment is always, "Can I call you back?" Of which typically it's 24 to 48 hours later that I get a call back.
Impossible.
It'd be very difficult, but I'm sure he'd still get the movement in from his shoulders and his head, even though he wouldn't have his hands to speak with.
He's Italian. Italians cannot speak without their hands. It doesn't make any sense without their hands.
I would say Father Pietramale would be Superman, and his power would be X-ray vision to help him see through people and see where they need support.
I'd have to say he would be one of the X-Men. He had his superpower would be bilocation, because it's unbelievable. He makes it from a parish function to a funeral to College of St. Mary's Mass to a meeting and back to the parish, and I don't know how he does it. He bilocates. He is able to get places, and I think he is at multiple places at the same time. He has that superhero power already.
Christ Child Society was a very important part of my history, and he's continuing the legacy, and I appreciate all that he does for the Christ Child. He deserves any award that comes his way.
So when I think about Father John and how he has worked with Christ Child, I think about one of our annual meetings, terrible weather, rain, sleet, snow combination, and we were honoring a couple who were both in their 90s, and I was worried about them getting out in the weather, and I said, Father, I don't think this is going to work. How are they going to get here? And he said, I'm sending a car. And I said, whose car? What car? And he said, I called Bill Cutler and told him to send a limo to pick them up. And that is another example of his ability to build relationships with different people that he has worked with. And you know, when Father Pietramale calls and asks you to do something, it's usually not for him, it's for someone else. He's very unselfish.
And he has been dedicated and faithful and loyal to the Christ Child Society. And thank you, Father Pietramale, for all of your service, and have a happy birthday.
Going back to his passion, he's a product of Christ Child, and so his time on the board that I was blessed to be a part of, his time as president of the board, and just his constant perseverance and passion to promote and make the best for Christ Child, so evident. So God bless you, Father John, and you are a great recipient of this year's honoree of Christ Child. God bless you.
You do so much good for people, and I love you dearly. And happy birthday. Bye-bye. Love you.